What's going on, guys? It's the Unhinged Engineer here, and today I am back with the long-awaited follow-up episode to my roasting resume series. So I know it's been a little while, and I kind of was wondering which flavor of resumes we should review, and a few of my videos in the recent past have done really well related to aerospace engineering. And I was like, well, what better time than now that we have all these new subscribers, welcome aboard by the way, who are interested in aerospace engineering content, to roast some resumes of aerospace engineers. And so I've compiled 5 of them just like I did previously in the CS major series, and we're going to go through them. And I know the series title is Roast Resumes, but hopefully we can help these people out and help them get the job they're looking for. So if you're looking for a specific kind of job and are looking for career advice, professional development advice, just about anything related to engineering and STEM careers, and you want to hear it from somebody young and new at this like myself, then definitely like, comment, subscribe. But without further ado, let's get right into roasting aerospace engineering resumes. And by the way, I grabbed these from r/resumes. In hindsight, there's a subreddit called r/EngineeringResumes that I probably should have grabbed these from. These resumes appear to have gotten a little bit less love than their counterparts on r/EngineeringResumes, and in the future I'll make another video probably just like this one, but with resumes sourced from that subreddit instead of this one. So these are all fresh resumes from the last year on r/resumes, where people specifically said, I'm an aerospace engineer, an aerospace engineering student, and I'm trying to get a job in this field. So we have 5 here. And this first one, I wrote a little snippet of context from the Reddit post itself, but it's a student with 0 years of experience, and they are looking for a job in Germany. I've never looked for a job in Germany before, but hopefully, all things considered, pretty similar to what we do here in the States. So let me just start going through. This is a pretty good personal statement. It's just a little long. Towards the end, honestly, this last sentence is a little fluffy. Oh, and this too. Yeah. I think honestly, the beginning is pretty cool. You talk about where you're at in your career. You talk about what you're interested in. I think that's sufficient for a personal statement. I'm 50-50 on personal statements, and I think what's it called? This one is just a little bit long. Something I totally didn't even register is this picture. I would highly recommend not having a picture on your resume for a multitude of reasons. I do actually think I've heard that this is more normal overseas, but even so, I would advise against it just for several reasons regarding profiling or parsing, anything like that. There's a lot of reasons that this is probably not a good idea, and so I would avoid it for that reason. If you have any additional input on why putting your picture is a bad idea, or why it's maybe less bad of an idea overseas, then definitely drop a comment. But in my experience, people typically very strongly advise against this, so I'm just gonna parrot what they say, to be honest. Also, I'll just say, this is a little weird that it's not in an education section. I guess it's interesting that I jumped right to the personal statement. I didn't even register the stuff at the top. I would have your education first, or if you're gonna have it below the personal statement, again, all the more reason to make this shorter, because you want them to jump right to what you're doing, especially considering you're getting an MS, which is good. Yeah, LinkedIn, phone number. Let's get on to the experience. Yeah, these are pretty legit. I would just try to put some numbers in here, especially if you're in production. Hopefully you have some numbers, some traceability into the impact of what you did. Maybe you enhanced plant efficiency by 50% or productivity by 50%, whatever. To me, if you're looking for a technical role, I would assume that these bullets, these lines of effort you went through, are actually more complicated than the bullet makes it seem. It's kind of vague. And if you're researching advanced materials and you're designing stuff and you're going through and working with technical drawings, there's probably a lot more meat and potatoes here that you could use, that these kind of make it seem cursory, random experience, right? But I would assume in at least some of these drawings or some of these designs or whatever else, you went pretty in depth, and you want to demonstrate that technical depth in the resume, which these bullets kind of don't really. So I'll just say more depth here. I feel you're lumping in lots of work into single bullets, which you can afford to make a little more room. And again, speaking of that, I think this format's fine, but you've got lots and lots of white space on the sides that you could be using, and a lot of these bullets are kind of lacking in detail, right? So definitely make use of the space you have. Which, I can already tell this is a 2-pager already, but we'll get to that. Point here being it's really important that these bullets show technical depth, and I feel these kind of don't really as much as you might like. So I would definitely try to flesh them out more, even if it winds up taking more space. And that's where you can chop stuff your picture, or make, this could all be one line, and then you save a crap ton of space, right? Because you don't really have to list locations. I think I do, but honestly, it's kind of like an afterthought. It doesn't really matter. And so like, I would evaluate whether you want to include that information. Just think about it. All I'm trying to say is you don't have to do that if you don't want to. So definitely reconsider if necessary. Let's keep going. Yeah, education. I mean, I would just move this to the top, right? Try to slim it up a little bit. I don't know what these grading systems are, but in the American system, 2.8 is not the best res, terrible, but you know, at a certain point in your career, I mean, I would consider just dropping it. I don't think my GPA is on my resume anymore, and I'm only working for 3 years. So yeah, I would remove like time management, growth mindset. Yeah, I mean, soft skills as a whole is kind of questionable. I think there's a potential better way to do soft skills, like less soft skills and, you know, growth mindset. Like I don't really know that that's gonna check anybody's boxes, but I like the way you have it format and the digital skills are listed out. That's strong. I would definitely list that you speak another language is pretty cool. I think employers like that more than people realize. Okay, overall, I think this is honestly pretty solid. I mean, you have a lot of internships, which is really, really good. I think I would just tweak the formatting to give yourself a bit more room to flesh out the experiences you have had, because hopefully there's a lot of technical detail in here that you're just kind of leaving out, like, because everything's so spread out, like there's a ton of white space you're just not using. And I think if you condense things a little bit more and eliminate some of those ancillary things that aren't really necessary, like, you know, soft skills or the second half of your personal statement or stuff like that, then I think you'll be ready to rock there. And I think, you know, in terms of the whole 2-page debate, this is probably one that doesn't have to be 2 pages, especially considering like you have your education on the second page. Like that's pretty bad. I wouldn't do that. Yeah, I would highly recommend, you know, trying to reformat things such that you can fit it in 1 page. It's not a bad format at all. Like visually, it looks pretty clean, but I think you're leaving a lot of space on the table. Yeah, that and then a few not very far off of a pretty solid resume here. Okay. Let's move on to resume number 2. Okay, 1 year of experience, Aero Tech AI internship. Hard to tell what they really mean by that, given that they don't list the specific experiences they've had. Maybe that just means they're looking for things in all of those, which that in itself is kind of a red flag. I would try to be a little more precise in your job search, but I don't know if that's what they meant or not. Let's dive into the resume itself. Okay, first of all, I think visually, it's pretty clean. The only thing I'd advise adding here is some lines, right? Like just lines to break up the different sections, like maybe a line under your name, line under the education section, experience, stuff like that. Just like this is a very clean format, but I think some lines to kind of break up the different sections would just make it easier to tell like what's going on. Again, this is a pretty long personal statement. Let's see what it says. I don't know what this means, like internship related initiative. I actually like the skilled in data acquisition, computational modeling, blah, blah, blah. And again, like this last sentence is kind of fluffy, right? It's just not necessary. I don't really feel like it helps that much. Wow. 1 master's wasn't enough, huh? That's interesting. Certifications are 50-50. I feel like honestly, something tells me you're going to have these things plastered. Yeah, see, plastered all over your skills section. So maybe these are like not necessary, but that's just me. Cool research project, by the way, though. Anyway, side tangent. I do like how you list out your relevant courses. This is just kind of a lot. Maybe you could consolidate some machine learning and deep learning. You could probably compile into one. Partial and ordinary DiffyQs with like mathematical and computational modeling. Like you're probably using the PDEs and ODEs for mathematical modeling. So you have a lot here that's just word salad. Like you could consolidate these in a way. I think I only had like 3 relevant coursework points, and they were all consolidations of multiple classes, like computer vision, right? Like that's a very broad. I've done coursework in deep learning. I've done coursework in computational photography. Like I just kind of took a bunch and like threw them together. You can do that for these. It doesn't have to be like the specific course titles broken out as much. As a matter of fact, a lot of people would even say having relevant coursework at all is not good. So I would definitely keep it short and sweet. Also, I like how you have your GitHub here. That's good. Experience. Certain committee for use on certain actions. I guess they're just anonymizing it. That's a lame bullet. Data-driven decision making. It's kind of like a given. Like the TA. I think people like that. Shows you can work with people. Yeah, this is a lot. This is a lot of leadership. I think it's just honestly too much. To me, you're trying to get a job, and like these are the most important things. And like the last resume, these bullets could use some fleshing out. So I think, I mean, even your like TA bullet could use more meat. 2 bullets, and that one doesn't even count. Like 2 bullets, 2 bullets. I would definitely advise trying to flesh these out more. I don't really see any bullets here that jump out at me. I guess this is a good bullet. Like, you could flesh that one out more. What was this autonomous systems about, right? Not all of these are bad, but you've lumped in a few of these that like don't really matter in terms of actually getting a technical job at the end of the day. So yeah, it's just kind of a ton. This is your objective statement again. Not useful again. Yeah, I feel like you can definitely get this under 1 page. I think that, again, you're leaving a lot of white space, and just some basic lining would help. So much space on the sides, and even at the bottom too. That might be notability, but still. All this just to say, I think you could definitely consolidate things. You can get it under 1 page. Not that that's like a Bible rule. Like, again, I always tell people, like, it doesn't have to be under 1 page, but I think this one doesn't warrant being over 1 page. So I would recommend consolidating. Okay, and then I guess last point in terms of like what you're looking for, maybe try to be more specific, and then that'll tell you like in what ways to consolidate, right? Because for different jobs, you're going to want to consolidate or even flesh out certain things more than others. Like if you're trying to get an autonomous systems job, maybe flesh out the part with autonomous systems, right? You get the point there. Okay, cool. Next one, 0 years experience, EU, looking for CFD aero structures, solid GPA. I feel like that one's worth leaving. Skills at the top. I typically prefer skills at the bottom, but this is really short and sweet. I think it's fine where it is. I'll just write like bottom question mark. Yeah, that sounds kind of weird, but whatever. You can decide where you want to put it. So, okay, experience, internship, joint interdisciplinary project. These are great bullets. Very solid bullets here. Any numbers in there would be good. Overall, these are very solid bullets. Wow. I don't know that much about aerodynamics, but I like that you link the GitHub too. Except these formats should be the same, but I like that you link them. Wow. Okay. This feedback is going to be pretty different from the previous ones because you have a ton of stuff here, and it does seem like you go in more technical depth, which is good. I like these projects. I like that you link to the GitHubs. That's really huge. So this is your thesis. So some people might find this sketchy, but this is what I do. I would list this as like work experience, and I would call yourself a graduate researcher. Because yes, like it's a project, but when I think projects, I think like personal projects or self-coded projects. Yeah, I guess the fact that you coded it yourself is good, but like I wouldn't call the project a self-coded project, right? When I think projects, I think like personal projects. You can even list that section as such. I mean, you were a master's student. I would assume hopefully you got some kind of funding or stipend. And so I would consider that work experience. Yeah, and then that way it looks like you have more work experiences than projects on your resume, which typically is a good thing, right? Because it shows that you have a lot of real world experience. Speaking of which, these projects are badass. It's super cool. Oh, this is even your bachelor's thesis. Okay, I mean, I think I do also list undergrad research as like work experience. And so, you could do the same thing. But yeah, at least like at a minimum the master's thesis because you got paid for it, presumably, hopefully. I would definitely shift that to the top and then you're good. And then yeah, if you want to leave your bachelor's thesis there because it's a little bit different, then that's good because you don't only have one project here. And I would highly, highly recommend, by the way, keeping these 2 projects because they're both really, really solid. Formatting's good. Little generous on the use of bolding, but aside from that, fine. That's like a nitpick. I think the format looks really good. You make use of the space well. This is a solid, relevant coursework section, right? Like short, sweet, 1 line, you're good. No, I think this is great. This is a pretty solid resume. I would just make those small changes, but overall, I think it's solid already. Okay, so from Reddit, I could tell this is a student. I think they said they're a junior at a UC school. So yeah, way we do student resumes is pretty different from how we do full-time resumes. So hope this isn't your real. Okay, no, it's not. I got worried for a second. Don't want to dox anybody. Like, I would move this down. I actually have something that says like focus autonomy. So like I get what you're going for here, but I would not like muddy what your degree itself was in. I would shift it down. I like that you have your associates there. That's cool. Again, skills, I would typically move to the bottom, but that's up to you. It's not a huge deal, and yours is small. Like, don't like overload the skill section like I've seen a lot of people do. It's just not worth it. So here's my deal, right? I think, just to be blunt, like I know this is a video about resume advice, and I'm trying to focus on that, but I just think you need like more projects. At the end of the day, like you need more projects to fill this out. I think these are solid. I would honestly completely get rid of these. Okay, well actually let's go back, right? Like get rid of in and out. This doesn't seem that relevant to me. So maybe leave it if you have room, but I wouldn't. This I don't know what goes into like aircraft restoration, but I would assume you have to do a lot of stuff. So like you have it as an internship here, flesh that out and like move it to the top. You know, if you even touch the engine, say you worked on the engine, I think having it under in and out is bad, and in and out shouldn't even be there. Like I know like it's work experience and you're trying to show that you've had a job before, like I get that. But by the same token, like in my opinion, not to be harsh, it looks pretty bad. Like it looks like you're grasping for stuff to put on there. I mean, like I was a hockey referee in high school. When I got to college, the first thing they said was like, take that shit off because you look like a high schooler, which I was. I was very newly not a high schooler anymore. This is like a little wall of text. Like you got to bullet that out more for sure. Oh, wait a second. This is the same thing. These two things are the same things. Okay, yeah. Well, that's just weird. I would have them be like at the top. I totally just, yeah, okay. Like I wouldn't have it. I got confused, which is part of the point, right? Resume reader's always right, I suppose. Like I would definitely consolidate that and put that all at the top and call it work experience. I don't know what this was for. Like if this was for a club or something. This isn't the same thing too, was it? No. Okay. Whoever that was for, if it was for anybody, then I would list it experience, and if not, then list it as the project at the bottom. But yeah, things are just kind of like scattered out, and that makes it a little hard to track what's going on. Yeah, and then I think, just to be brutally honest, you should have at least like 2 or 3 more in here to fill up the space you're gonna get back from whacking in and out and the College of Nursing. Okay, last one, 5th resume here. It's a pretty interesting format. I usually don't like these weird things where there's like a column, but this is actually pretty clean. I like this. Yeah, I honestly wouldn't list a hometown. A, for like safety reasons, and B, like you don't want to give the impression that you're not willing to move unless you are not willing to move. Bachelor's in aerospace, minor computer science, GPA is fine, and that's about what mine was actually. Technical skills. Except instead of these like statements at the beginning, like you would have, you know, kind of an XYZ bullet for work experience, I would just do like software and then like hardware. Kind of like this person did digital skills and they have soft skills. I would do like software and then hardware, just like that. And I like that they separated it with the pipes too. That's cool. Like you did for your name and whatnot. It looks clean. I actually might steal that because I use commas in mine. So, okay, utilize MATLAB, and I would typically consider those separate tools. Get rid of the chef job. I don't know what officer means. I would try to have like a more technical title. Like I like that you have like testing there at the top. Great bullets. Your bullets are very solid. They're all one line too, which is impressive. Expand here, like depending on what equations or concepts you use, that could be useful information to somebody. They use like Runge-Kutta method as like a solver and you've done it before, like that's good. I think this is pretty solid, honestly. I think this is good. I would actually flesh these out too. Get rid of the cook, it takes up too much space, and then use that to make these each individual projects. If you've been working at this club for almost a year, I guess over a year actually, I would consider listing it as experience. You know, you have research and work experience here. Like, I just think like there's nothing wrong with projects, but projects should be very specific. It should be things that you went out and did of your own volition to demonstrate technical depth in an area that you're interested in. That's really it. So like, I don't consider clubs projects. I don't consider research projects. I don't consider, hackathons. I would use the title of projects very sparingly because it's a gamble, right? Like you're showing that, you know, this is space that could be filled with work experience if somebody paid you that's not, right? But the idea with projects, at least in my head, is you have increased flexibility so you can put in there whatever the hell you want, which makes it worth the risk if you do it right. You've probably seen in a few of these I've said like, oh, like take this out of project, move it up, take this out of project, move it up. Like experience is pretty broad. It doesn't have to be exclusively full-time experience for somebody new, for somebody starting out. As you get older, that obviously changes. You know, nobody cares what you're doing in your free time by the time you're like, you know, at a senior or VP level, right? They don't care. But for us young people, there's some flexibility, right? You want to make sure that you're getting to a base level of competency demonstration, and then you can nitpick the individual words later. This resume I have here, was this the third one? This is very solid. This shows somebody who like knows what they want to do. They've pursued experience and projects in this specific area. Like it shows that they know what they're doing at a base level. If you exceed that base level, then it's probably pretty good. I mean, you know, there's nitpicks here and there, like move things around and try to use the XYZ method with numbers if possible. Like all that's like good to great, but I really do think like with resumes, 90% of the battle is just showing that you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing, you know what you want to do. Yeah, this one definitely does. This one kind of, like there just isn't enough material there. Like I would assume this person's interested in aircraft based on their work experience and whatnot. and their degree. But yeah, there just isn't enough projects or other work experience yet to get that going. So yeah, and then at the bottom, this one honestly does a good job, I would say. I'm gonna assume this is also a student. Yeah, they're still at this club. I should say, like, you know, these two bottom ones being students, these are pretty solid resumes for students, right? Like, I don't want to dump on anybody, but I feel like at the end of the day, you do want to compare yourself against people out in the job market, like especially in today's job market where it's so entry level heavy, right? Like, you get a lot of competition and ultimately you got to beat them. Nobody cares what stage you're at. So as far as student resumes go, these are pretty solid, but hopefully the tips I gave could take it to the next level and have it compete with the full-timers that you are competing with. I talked about that in one of my videos forever ago. Anyway, and then these two towards the beginning could just use some more work in terms of like making the message clearer. But yeah, that's basically it. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm the Unhinged Engineer. So this was an episode of Roasting Resumes specifically geared towards aerospace engineering. I definitely want to do another one of these on r/EngineeringResumes. Those seem to get like a bit more activity from the subreddit itself. So I wanted to like attack these first and hopefully help these people out. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm the Unhinged Engineer. If you're interested in resume review content like this, or just general professional development content for young engineers such as myself, then definitely like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.